Rolling. Hey, liars. Like Gossip Girl. Hey, liars.
Hey, liars.
This is an email from A. We haven't
Ooh.
had one in a while. We've had voicemails.
Yes.
Anonymous voicemails.
Right.
But not an email. So it came through while we were doing our Discord chat, which has me sus, of course.
Of course. We can only assume.
And the email states, it's funny how you deny being a liar when your show is called We Are Liars. And speaking of lying, how was your little outing with your number one suspect? I would think if you really believed he was A, you would keep your distance, in case he reveals some secrets.
Okay.
I mean, this
so
just screams Mike.
It's got like, I get what you were trying to do, Mike, but
now more than ever.
It's
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
For those of curious and need context, I had a live show over the weekend with Movie Friends podcast, and Liz was there, and Mike, our listener and patron, was there. So
he came as a surprise.
He sure did. Wearing a Shrek mask. We
imagine if
Shrek
this
too.
is Seth this whole time. I just had a light bulb.
Oh my God!
Liz. Seth's got nothing else better to do.
Sure. Yeah, right. Seth's just doing all of the things all of the time.
All of his businesses and his podcast ventures and his tweeting,
and his kids and
his children.
Wife. Yeah.
Of course he has time to do this. It just was a thought in my little head.
Seth. I like that. Should we run with that?
Let's go. Let's just go with it being Seth and get Mike off the hook.
Yeah.
And then when Mike reveals himself, we'll be like, oh, haha, we didn't think it was you.
I love it. Okay, Seth. Yeah. I like that list.
It's Seth. But we are back in double digits this week, episode 10. We Are Liars podcast, a Pretty Little Liars podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Michelle.
And I was having a blast in the Discord chat tonight. What about you?
Losing it. I wish we were together. My jaw dropped multiple times tonight. Multiple times.
She was surprised, y'all.
A lot. There was a lot going on.
Discuss.
It was messy.
It was messy, but in the best way.
Yes, really good.
It was great.
Yeah.
So this episode is titled Touched by an Angel, aired August 16th, 2011, written by Maya Goldsmith and Charlie Craig, and directed by Chad Lowe. So Mr. Byron himself, Mr. Barron.
No way, Mr. Barron.
Mr. Barron, yeah. He wasn't in the episode, so I guess it makes sense that,
he was directing.
So was directing and busy.
Mm-hmm.
So the summary is Aria tries to process Spencer and Emily's news about Jason while dealing with her feelings for him. Hanna tries to be nice to her future stepsister Kate. A turns up the heat on Emily by trying to push her to her breaking point. A was not cooling it off with Emily.
Really aggressive towards Emily.
Yeah.
Like really uncomfortably. I think worse, and maybe I'm not remembering, but see how close I can get my hands around your neck? Whoa.
I know. Yeah. We had bouts of it in last season with Hanna, but this is really personal.
Yeah. And
with Emily.
And so vulnerable being in your Nikes.
I know. It's so crazy.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll start with our friend Aria. She had to find out about these pictures, and she finds out as soon as we open the episode. She blurts out to Emily, Jason kissed me. And then Emily blurts out to her well, he's got weird photos of you. So
you know what? I didn't think this was going to happen so fast, but I'm kind of glad that she was like a loose cannon and just saying all of the things let's roll this story. Let's get it going. I don't want to wait. This was good.
Selfishly, I don't want to wait for any of these things to develop.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But it was nice that it was out in the open, and more things will become very, out in the open in this episode. So she's officially creeped out because Spencer's we don't know if you were sleeping or maybe you were drugged. And she's like, yeah, because when would he have taken these photos of me?
Right.
So creepy.
Ew.
So Aria waltzes right up to Jason and she's like, hey, I hear you have some creepy photos of me. What's the story? And it's funny that last week you predicted, hey, maybe he developed someone else's film. And I was like, whose film, Michelle? And you're like, I don't know. And I'm like, it's Allie's film. Yeah, so that's his
Wow.
story. That it's Allie's film. He found it under the floorboards with some of her like hidden things, and so he developed them and wanted to gift Aria's photos of herself and her parts, as Kirsten said, to her. Wanted to frame her parts.
Would you want to accept this as a gift?
I wouldn't. While I think these photos were cool of her, like of the way that Allie went about them, was weird, and I think if someone had even if someone had I willingly have posed for a photo and then they had like zoomed in on just my mouth or zoomed in on just my nose, I still be like, this is kind of weird, and why would I
Yeah.
want this framed as a gift? It's a very strange gift. I don't know where he was going with this, but
Yeah.
all of our listeners, like every single one of them, is like, do we believe that this was Allie's, or is Jason just trying to sound like less of a creep?
Yeah.
I mean, I know, but
Sure. I'm in the camp right now where I don't want to believe him. Also,
mm,
it's just strange to me that he would set up a whole dark room to develop these. Why wouldn't you just go and get them developed?
that is a great point.
Does
That is a
Jason
great point.
do photography? Did I miss that? Is this like, well, I guess this would
Well,
be him doing photography, right? If he took these photos. But if he's just claiming, like, oh, I found a roll of film, like if I found a roll of film, I'm not setting up a whole darkroom situation. I'm going to go get them
no.
developed.
I guess maybe, and obviously there are some secrets that we still have to figure out, but maybe he felt as though, and especially with this new N.A.T club, which we'll get into, maybe he felt like, hey, Allie might have stuff on him and he or his friends,
Mm,
and he's like, I'm just going to
mm,
develop these in private just in case it's something sketchy or revealing
yeah. Oh, that's a good
about
point.
anyone. But yes, I do think it's extremely suspicious for him to just make his own darkroom in his shed to develop one roll of film from his sister. He also does have surveillance equipment in there, and he tells Aria, I moved that stuff out because it's expensive. And he
Right.
moved all the pictures because, like we said, he wanted to frame them and give them to her. So, and he's like, yeah, your friends were the one to like break in. Of course, like this town is always trying to like pull secrets out of like thin air basically, and I'm like, well, it was suspicious.
It's very suspicious. And she even says, like, this doesn't look good.
Yeah, she's like, dude, it doesn't look good. He's like,
It's
yeah, I
not
see
great.
that now, it doesn't look that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the day is not a regular day, it's a college fair day, so attendance is technically optional. And so we see the girls throughout the day. Spencer doesn't go to the fair, but Aria stays and Emily stays. And of course, as I said last week, Hollis has a booth at this fair. And Ezra and Jackie are the two representatives from Hollis. I'm like, really? That would not be the case. But of course, for drama, we did this.
Right. I mean, Ezra's a new employee of that school. And Jackie, like, why would you use these
Wouldn't
two?
you pick someone from admissions? So,
Yes, you
right? Like you
would.
wouldn't pick two random teachers. Yes, we understand that Ezra used to teach at Rosewood, but it's not even like he's alum at Rosewood.
Mm-mm.
He just
Right.
taught there for like a semester.
Good point.
And Jackie, of course, for the drama, she's
Sure.
there and she's like, "Hey, Z," and she's like being a little hands-on with him. And Aria sees it from far away. She's very, she's upset about it because obviously her relationship is on the line, especially after her and Jason sharing this kiss. And so then she tells Ezra about said kiss, which the way she's like, oh, it came out wrong. I'm like, no, you said it exactly the way you wanted to say it because you wanted to stir up shit because you want Ezra to be jealous.
Right. That's
Right?
exactly it. Because she's like, you need to open up your eyes. Jackie's into you, has feelings for you.
Right.
But it's not
And
like,
we're
how it
secret.
is. Right, right. And it's not like, how it is for me, even though I kissed Jason kissed me. It didn't mean anything.
Right.
Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that.
It was so the way she said it was so backwards.
Yeah.
It didn't she didn't elaborate she didn't elaborate well enough, and it just didn't make sense for her to say it in that way. But Ezra's clearly threatened and he's upset, and then Jackie walks over at this point and she's like, hey, let me help you, and he's like fuming and he walks away, and Queen Jackie herself is like, Aria, honey, when you're out of high school, you'll just realize how naive you were. Like, wink, wink. And I don't know if Aria thinks that Jackie knows for sure that something's happening here, or Aria thinks that Jackie's jealous. Do you know what I mean?
I
Like, maybe
think,
Jackie would be jealous that she's not with Ezra. But then
yeah,
again, that would be like she would know that she's also with Aria. So he's with Aria.
right. I
So I
think,
don't know.
yeah, I think it to Arya just seems, it makes it seem like Jackie's just jealous.
She's just
Jackie's
jealous.
saying, like, college, it really makes you grow up. Amazing. Jackie,
Amazing.
welcome back to the room. You're
Yeah.
welcome anytime.
She's welcome anytime. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Arya, knowing that, she goes to the grill, and Ezra and her are texting, and she's like, "Yeah, I know we need to talk." But then, of course, at that moment, Jason comes in with his framed photos. Got them
Strange.
so quickly framed,
Yeah.
and he shows them to her. Mentions that she had this hidden box under the floorboard. So when he was going through and basically, I guess, just renovating the house, he found some of Valley's stuff. In it, he claims is girl stuff. In the chat,
Girl
we were like,
stuff.
what is this girl stuff? But in there is the roll of film. And he's like, you can take a look of what else is in the box. You can come back to my house. And so she follows him there. And he's like, wait, it's actually in his woodshed or something like that. I don't know why he has so many
I
sheds
know. I was
on the
wondering
property.
that too.
I guess they're just so rich that they have all these sheds. And she's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to stay back because she's a little creeped out by the whole situation.
Yeah.
And then, God, we have Spencer see Jason and Aria talking before that at the grill. And she says to Toby, Aria is not going to listen to me, but I know who she will listen to. And I'm like, oh, here we go. So she hops in, she sees Ezra, hops in his car, tells him that she knows about their affair and that Aria is in danger and you need to come right away. Like, yeah. So
Well, way to create some urgency to the issue.
yes, and she's like, I didn't know what to do. So Ezra like speeds up in his Prius because he can go so fast to the De Laurentiis house because I guess it's where Spencer figured they would be.
I know. How did she know that, right?
I don't really know, but
Good
it's a small
point.
town, so maybe she followed them. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ezra's like, your friends were worried about you. Spencer knows about us. And Arya's like, why would she say that? Why would she tell you basically that I've told her this whole time that we've been together? Why would she rat me out? And he's like, well, your friends are just worried. And here I am. And I'm threatened by this guy. And I think that we should be public because of it. Like, I'm so threatened that therefore we should be public. And she's so happy about it.
This is crazy. The fact that he thinks that this is a good idea.
And they should tell his parents. They should
Right.
tell her parents.
That's where they should start. Tell her parents.
That's where they should start. Sure. I mean, I don't know who would we be starting with. Would Vic ask even at this point would be telling our parents? I don't think I would still
so.
would not be saying anything.
No.
Yeah. And Jason also witnesses them together,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, gotcha. Why you're unavailable?"
Right. And gives her the box.
Gives her the box,
girl
and she takes it
things.
home of the girl things. And so she's going through those girl things, which just seems to be like a little doll and like two other like figurines.
Yeah, what are
I'm
the
not even sure.
trinkets? We didn't even get to see what they were.
Yeah, I don't know if we might come back to it. I honestly don't remember. But at this point, Ella comes into her room because she had witnessed Spencer and Ezra in the car together and thought, huh, that's weird. And then remembered there were rumors about Ezra and a student and thinks maybe Aria would know if Spencer and Ezra were together. And so Aria's like, no, definitely not. But would it be so bad? And Ella's like, well, yeah, I definitely would feel disappointed in both of them. And then she kind of takes back her words. She's like, actually, disappointment doesn't even cut it. I would be betrayed if they were together.
Wasn't that like a weird use of term?
Yes. And Mike says, do you think that Ella had like a light bulb moment when she questioned Aria, kind of like, well, she kind of suspects and is maybe like, I would be betrayed if this were to ever happen.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Because finding out if Spencer and Ezra got together and then saying I feel betrayed by that scenario is weird.
Right. Especially like she acted like her and Ezra were like these best
I
friends.
know.
They had like 3 conversations that you see on on screen.
Right.
And there's a big age difference between them two as well. He's 23 and she's probably, in her 40s, so it's not like
Uh-huh.
they were super close either.
Right. And I did like the fact that she did say it would be along the lines of inappropriate, his abuse of power.
Mhm.
But then to be like, I'd feel betrayed. It's like,
Yeah. I know. It was a weird choice
yeah.
to
Yeah.
describe it,
Yeah.
but And then Aria sees Spencer later on, and Spencer and her apologize to each other. And Spencer's just like, I just didn't know what to do. I thought you were in danger. You're really small, and I love you. And Aria's like, yeah, it's fine. Just keep an eye out because my mom thinks that you and Ezra are hooking up.
And
So
like,
good.
how is this going to go over with Ezra? Like, oh, BT dubs, we actually can't tell anybody again.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're back at square one.
To be determined. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have to mention a very brief mention of Mike in this episode. We have
Yeah.
Ella who sees Dr. Sullivan and she expresses her concerns about Mike and how he's withdrawn and he won't talk to anyone. And can Dr. Sullivan treat him? And so she says she doesn't like to treat siblings, which I thought was so strange, as she had an entire group of girls being treated at the same time and then she treated all of them individually.
Yeah. I know.
It's like,
Like, you
I
shouldn't have
don't know
done
the
that.
logic.
You should
No.
not have done that. It's too
Mm-mm.
close for comfort. They're all dealing with the same issue.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she says no, I'll find some recommendations for him. So
Right.
fingers crossed for some therapy, even though Ella told Aria it doesn't seem like Mike's really going to be into this.
Yeah.
Yeah. At 14, I don't think you really want to be talking about your problems to a
No.
stranger.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, over to Spencer. She's in charge, which I think is so bizarre and random, to go through Ian's belongings while Melissa is gone.
This is so weird. Why? Why would we give her this task?
Where was this stuff? Was it in the
Yes.
barn? Was it in their apartment in Philly? Like, where was this stuff that now Spencer has to go through? And I'm like, well, he has no family. He has no next of kin. He has no one that cared about him. We see that, firsthand with the funeral.
Right.
So nobody's going to want this stuff. You should just donate it all. I don't even know why they're going through it. You should just like pick it up and donate it. Luckily for Spencer, though, her and Toby go through Ian's belongings and they find an old yearbook at his time at Rosewood High. And under Ian's picture, he has a bunch of clubs, and the last one being the N.A.T club. And Spencer's like, I know all the clubs at school. What could this be?
Right.
And so she searches through the yearbook to see if anyone else was a part of this made up club. And of course, the audience is not surprised that it's Jason and Garrett.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't understand what N.A.T means. Like, this club obviously is not a real club. It's made up, but it means something to them. And so Spencer picks up this old t-shirt and the t-shirt says, hopefully I don't butcher this, Nos animadverto totus, which in Latin translates to we see all, which it does not actually mean that.
It doesn't?
The translation is incorrect. It's kind of like a fudge translation.
What is
But
the translation
it was
along
just
those
like,
lines?
yeah, sort
Okay.
of,
Okay.
but not exact.
Mm-hmm.
But we had to get that Bing in there, that Bing
Oh my
sponsorship.
gosh, that Bing. So it's like kind of a smartphone.
Basically, yeah. I guess was it a
Yeah.
Bing phone? Was that a thing? I feel like it was.
Really?
Maybe I'm making this up. Like, well, I mean, as we were talking about last week, smartphones were out, but no one in the show seemed to really have one. And I guess Spencer, of course, being the rich one, has a cool phone, the Bing phone,
The Bing phone.
the Chandler Bing phone.
I don't know.
So
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know.
Spencer thinking about this now, she's like, well, Ian had these videos. Maybe Garrett and Jason were involved, and this club was to spy on girls. And Toby's like, that's gross. They're perverts. And Spencer's like, maybe Allie found out, and that's why Jason killed her. She's still on this. Jason killed Allison, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
becoming on her. I know.
Mm-hmm.
We
I
don't know how I
know.
feel about Jason, but Spencer, and I was talking about this in the chat, I'm very easily triggered by her these days. She's like a little bit too much of a smarty pants and like too much in your face about everything Jason.
Well, Toby even calls her out on it.
Yeah, he's like, what's the definition? Like, what's the word for like literally obsessed with things?
Yeah, that's her with this. It's a little annoying.
It's annoying. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
remember first time around, I didn't think it was, but I guess this time around I do. So
Yeah.
we'll see if it continues. But Spencer then later on stumbles across Jenna sitting in her living room. She says her mom let her in. But yeah, I'm like,
I know.
again, how is she maneuvering herself? She's only been blind for like a year,
If her mom
maybe
is,
2 years.
that's fine, but why wasn't the mom going through Jason stuff?
She called up Jason again.
Oh my God. I was doing so good.
You had like one episode.
I know.
I
I know.
know.
Why
But
didn't the mom go through Ian's stuff?
right. If Veronica was there, why didn't she help?
Right.
They enlist Spencer. Or maybe Spencer volunteered because she's like, I want to
She
find out
probably
this
did.
shit. She
probably
probably did.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
But Jenna's there and she's like, hey, we had a deal, remember? Now that Ian has confessed to Allie's murder, that should have been the end of it, but you keep digging, and Toby was digging. I found that he was going through my things again, and they have this little argument back and forth, and Spencer's like, oh, like you care about Toby, and Jenna's like, I do care about Toby, and Spencer's like, yeah, I know how much you care about him. Remember, like, I have things on you. And Jenna leaves, and Spencer's like, by the way, say hello to Garrett. And Jenna's fuming. So
But
she gets
also,
herself in the car, and she's like, pissed. Pissed.
yeah, but like, what's the deal
With
with Jenna? I don't remember their deal.
Well, the
We
deal.
had an
Well,
agreement.
oh, I'm sorry. Yes, in season 1, the girls find Jenna's file. Remember, and in it is talked about her time with Toby, and the girls
Right.
also
Right.
had her
Yes.
home videos, which
Yes.
they don't anymore. They don't have the file and they don't have the videos, but Jenna still thinks that they do. So their deal was like, it really wasn't a deal. I guess Jenna wasn't going to tell the secret that the girls blinded her,
Okay.
and they would keep that
That's what we're going back to. Got
she
it.
did things to her brother, stepbrother, whatever.
God, this show is
Too much, way
twisted.
too much.
It's
Yeah.
really
So Jenna's not pissed that the girls know about her and Garrett. So she gets in the car and she's like, they know we're hooking up, and you need to go talk to Jason because it's going to come out sooner or later, and you need to make sure like he doesn't say anything. So then Garrett pays his buddy Jason a visit. He brings a 6-pack of beer with him, and Jason's like, nah, dude, I'm sober. And Garrett's like, now more than ever, we need to keep the secret because I'm a cop. And that's
Garrett's a
literally it.
turd.
He's
He's
the
a
worst.
turd.
Yep.
Like, were they just making gross videos and like underground pervert style, and Jenna is a part of it? That's my predict right here.
Okay. You heard it here. First
Underground,
time.
inappropriate
Right.
filming.
Especially if the girls were underage,
Mm-hmm.
could be very dicey here.
Oh, it's gross.
Yeah. All right, over to Emily, who is the weakest link. Remember that show?
Oh, of course.
My mom and I used to love watching it, and we'd always go, the weakest link.
The weakest link.
So good.
It's good.
But A has her number this season, especially in these first like 10-ish episodes. So she's pouring her alphabet cereal that is filled entirely of A's.
I loved it.
And it was so great.
This is great.
And a little note that literally says that Emily is the weakest link. Kim asks, do we think Emily is the weakest link? I feel like she's the best link for the girls because she's the first to be like, let's tell people about things.
That's true. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, if I had to, but they all like bend to A's ways because they need to because they
They
have
have to.
secrets.
They have to, but it just seems like as of late, like let's just keep like pecking at Emily because she's
Yeah,
bound to break.
right.
So in that way, it's like she is the weakest one because
Yeah,
we're withering her
unfortunately.
down. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she was easily wore down. I mean, it's not easy, but they did a lot to her. So,
Yeah.
what was she going to do? So
Right.
she goes to her locker and all this stuff gets spilled out because it was jammed and Dr. Sullivan swoops in to comfort her because she can tell that Emily's upset and Dr. Sullivan's like, look, make an appointment with me. And Emily's like, yeah, there are definitely things that I and the girls have not told you. So Emily plans to make an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ashley tells Hannah that she has this gift card for a massage and Emily should use it because more than Hannah and Ashley, she needs it. And so Emily goes to her appointment and it's a relaxing spa. It's her first massage ever. And so the masseuse tries to calm her nerves. And so Emily lays down on the table and never picks her head up from the table. She's relaxing, has a great massage. And then the masseuse comes in and is like, sorry, was running late, scheduling problems. And Emily's like, wait a minute, you didn't give me a massage. Who was in here? And then A has written in the condensation that they were the one who
This is
had given Emily a
so
massage.
creepy. That means like A touched you. Like A
Yeah.
is no longer just a text message or like a weird threat or a symbol, a prank. Hands. A's
Mm-hmm.
hands have now touched you.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother level. This just like to me raised the creep level.
Yes, absolutely. And so Emily is like beyond shocked. She can't even function. She goes home, she takes a shower, she's trying to recuperate. The girls are trying to take care of her, but like A was like threatening her in text yet again, like, oh, I'm going to put my hands around you, as you said in the beginning. Like,
Right. Like
yeah, poor
it
girl.
wasn't that hard to get my hands around your neck.
Mm,
What? I would be, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to leave the house.
I
I
know.
would become like agoraphobic and just,
Yeah, but
mm-mm.
even then, like, nowhere is safe.
Nowhere is safe.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like A is always everywhere. Like, it doesn't make sense as to how they could be everywhere,
Yeah. I
you
mean,
know?
especially for the massage. Like, how did they do that? How did you get into that parlor?
Right? And I'm sure you were in a hoodie and it
Right. Because
was
that seems to be like your
suspicious.
signature.
Right.
I guess I
The
could be
black
A
hoodie.
tonight.
Oh my god, yeah, you could be A tonight. She chokes herself with the headphones.
I know, maybe I'll just fuck. I can't.
You look like E.T. of like eyeballs on like the sides of your head.
I do because I can't get it over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
There are many costumes that have spun out of this show, but the black hoodie is definitely one of the most iconic characters.
sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Wow. Ooh, so creepy.
I know. All right, lastly, let's talk about Hannah. Tom has sent Hannah this handwritten letter expressing how much it means to him that she be at his wedding, which I'm like a phone call would have sufficed, but whatever.
Right.
Our listener Kate asked, did we actually watch the royal wedding that they referenced in the episode?
No.
I did not either.
No. I caught the highlights.
Yeah, I think my mom did. Not
Yeah.
the whole thing, but like definitely watched a majority of it, but I wasn't interested in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm way more into royal things now.
Yes.
Way
Well,
more.
not me, but you are, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Hannah decides she's not going to attend the college day. She tries it out, but then she leaves and she makes an appointment to go to the bridesmaid's dress shop,
Mm-hmm.
which seems like they pan. It looks like they're in the city. So maybe she went like and drove to Philly
Yeah. That's
because
what I
I'm
was
like,
thinking
why
too.
is why is Kate like in the same city? Because doesn't Tom doesn't live in Rosewood anymore.
Right. I know.
I was confused to that, but anywho, um, Hannah takes Mona with her to the dress store and she tries on this chocolate brown, like taffeta old school bridesmaid's dress, and they're both like, ooh, not great. Mona's like, I'm dry heaving in my mouth. This is awful. Like, who is your dad marrying? Like some hillbilly, right? And then out walks Kate, who they changed the actress, which definitely very different than the original. I
And
mean,
she seems so much older
yeah,
than what I'm remembering of when they all had dinner in
the
the grill.
dinner.
Kate
Yeah, the
seemed like a
dinner.
very quiet, younger
Right, like maybe
daughter.
like a little meek, like just
Yeah.
quiet. And this
Yeah.
Kate is definitely a presence, and you
Mm-hmm.
can tell that Mona is gravitating towards her very quickly because she's a very well-to-do, and she's got high fashion, and all these like unreleased pocketbooks, and Hannah's like, I just really don't want to like have to deal with her. But then Mona invites them to get lunch with Kate, and it ends up being they're going horseback riding, which so funny. Kat had asked us, what do we think of this new Kate?
I
I
mean,
think, like you said, she seems older.
yeah.
I can't tell if she was just a rude person and that's just how she was, or like I said in the chat, maybe she was just sensing the vibe that Hannah was giving, that Hannah doesn't like her or her mother, and so that way that's she's like has her guard up about being nice to her.
Well, also the whole loudspeaker
Well,
situation.
yeah,
I
that was
mean,
a confirmation.
correct. And I think Kate is the type of person. It's like, if you mess with me,
Yeah,
I'll gut you,
I'll
type of
mess with
deal.
you back.
Right. So
Yeah,
it's in a way like Hannah now has her own A.
basically, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
she just knows who this A is.
Right. Right.
Like,
But the like presence of another threatening
mm-hmm.
persona.
Yep. Sucks for her.
Yeah, it does.
But, she didn't check her surroundings before screaming that Isabel is what'd she call her? Like is a slur or something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It
It
was
wasn't
not
good.
good. Skank, something skanky.
Mm-hmm.
But so Mona and Hannah end up going horseback riding with Kate and her older cousins, and Kate's cousins are like less than impressed with Hannah. They're kind of like into Mona, but Mona's like faking it till she makes it. She's speaking French and she's telling them that she went to equestrian school and like camp, and they're impressed with her. But then Hannah and Mona end up losing the horses, and Hannah is pissed because she's like, Mona, you got us into this. You really just wanted to be on Kate's good side. You were impressed by her. And they kind of have a fight back and forth. And Mona even says, like, I wish Caleb would come back because you're just like a biatch.
Right. I mean,
Which
I
is
think
not,
that's
I
fair,
don't
you
find like
know?
that her being a biatch has anything to do with Caleb. I think she was just annoyed with this horse
Yeah,
situation.
but I think it doesn't help. Like her love is gone. So
Right. True. Yeah.
definitely,
I was like, yeah, she was so relatable wearing like the gray hoodie and her hair up in a
Oh,
bun this episode. I'm like, yep, that is like the heartbroken
that's right.
signature,
That's
you
right.
know. Mike had asked if we had ever been horseback riding.
Yeah, man. My
Not since
family
I
and
was like a
I,
kid.
we did a whole vacation in Vancouver, well, British Columbia, and we stayed at a dude ranch, and my horse was Bubbles for the week. I loved it. It was
I
so
didn't know
fun.
any of that.
What?
I
Yes,
did
you
not know.
did. You know the picture of like oh my, the
I'm
family
sure there are many
photo
pictures. I
with
didn't know
like
you guys
us
stayed in a
posing with the
dude
horse.
ranch
Oh
for
yeah,
a whole week.
yeah, and we had our own cabin, and the guy he flew private planes, so we did that, and they had hawk training, and like the
Wow.
1,000-pound pig stepped on my foot.
Oh, I remember hearing that story. I didn't realize that
Yeah,
that was
at the dude ranch in
at
British
the dude
Columbia.
ranch.
Yeah, Echo
Wow.
Valley Ranch, shout out.
Shout out. Whoop whoop.
I would so go back there. It was so fun. It was so
That's so much fun for you
fun. I
as
know, I
little
loved it.
kids.
I loved it. I think we were, I don't remember how old we were. I'll have to send you that picture though, Liz. Woof. That's something we're not sharing, but I'll send that to you.
I get the giddies.
Oy vey.
So they get back to the stables like lodge portion, and Hannah is so fired up, and she tells Mona like, look, I don't need to impress Kate and Isabel, and she calls Isabel some nasty names, and all of this is projected over the loudspeaker, and Kate and her cousins hear, and Hannah runs out to apologize, but Kate's like, no, it's too late. So then Hannah is at home. She's getting ready all her snack packs, like 5 snack packs, and she's like, I'm going to have this terrible afternoon, waiting for like Ashley to reprimand her or waiting for Tom to call. And then Tom does call, and it's a good phone call. He's happy to know that Kate and Hannah had a good time together. And then Kate gets on the phone and she's like, yeah, Hannah, don't feel bad about today, but just worry, just know I'm out like Donkey Kong. Like I'm out, it's all like Donkey Kong.
Kate, how old is she? She's giving me college.
She's not in college.
She's in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But doesn't she seem so much older?
She does. She definitely seems more mature.
Yeah.
Especially than Hannah.
Yeah.
And she's just more, I think she's an only child. And well, not that Hannah's not, but you know, she comes
She's
from
different.
obviously money, and it's a different lifestyle, and she's just a little bit more grown up than Hannah and her friends. But all of our listeners need to know, Michelle, what is Kate going to do to Hannah?
Oh, I think she'll just torture her. It'll be a bunch of things, like slow torture.
Ooh.
Blame things on her, cause scenes. I'm excited. Not that I want our little Hannah Banan to be tortured, but I do kind of like this drama.
I remember probably first and second time watching this, that this Kate journey is definitely not my favorite.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So it gets old? Does it get old?
I remember like the things that happen, and I remember being like, when's this going? When's this wrapping up? It's too much for me.
Okay.
That was, back in the day. Who knows if I'll feel differently? Maybe it's even shorter than I imagined it to be. I hope.
Okay.
So
That's
we'll
a good
see.
way of looking at it.
But yeah, she's out for blood, that one.
So I guess we are going to the wedding.
Well, I can tell you that there is a rehearsal dinner next week.
Okay. All right. Because I'm like, either bridal shower needs to happen or bachelorette.
I didn't watch past next week, so I don't know if the wedding is going to be then after.
Well, that would make sense. I mean, usually the rehearsal dinner is
It's
the
like
night before.
The night before, usually, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And then we have our last scene, which is an A-Nod. We have this session between Dr. Sullivan and one of her patients, and we zoom kind of close to the coat rack, and you see a black hoodie there and black gloves, and she's like, all right, so what do you want to talk about? And so alluding that A is either an old patient or a new patient of Dr. Sullivan.
Right.
So, or maybe it's someone else and they want you entirely.
Right.
And
Maybe it's Emily.
Right. They want you to think something.
And just wore a black hoodie.
Right.
Right.
Good thoughts. All right. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. All right, let's get into some ice cream. Lucky Leon's ladle.
No, isn't it ladle?
No, it's ladle.
Okay.
Mike had even sent me an emoji of a ladle. Of a ladle. Just in case I needed the help.
Hey, it helps.
So it's Haagen-Dazs Extras Rocky Road ice cream.
Ooh.
Fluffy ripples of marshmallow. Oh, my camera's blocking it. Fluffy ripples of marshmallow and roasted almonds come together in a legendary chocolate ice cream made with Canadian dairy, which both of you now know what it tastes like. We did get to drink some milk in a pitcher on over the weekend. It should have been another smooth week for our liars, with their only worrying being trying to figure out which college they'd like to go to. However, the road the liars are on is anything but smooth. Emily is trying to relax after what she's been through with a nice massage, only to find out that it was in A's hands working out those knots. The plan to tell Aria's parents about her relationship with Ezra hits a bump in the road when Ella confronts Aria, thinking it's Spencer and Ezra, saying she'd be really disappointed if it was true, causing Aria to second guess, letting her parents know about her and Ezra. Poor Hannah, leaving her helmet on the speaker button, allowing everyone to hear her true feelings about Kate and Isabel. What payback does Kate have in store for her? Will she bend Hannah like the bend in the spoon as we dig into our delicious ice cream?
Wow, very good, Mike.
Good one, Mike. I do. You like Rocky Road?
I don't know. Well, it's
Same.
got
I feel like I've had it like once.
same the marshmallow, since I usually don't do marshmallow
Yeah.
because of gelatin.
Yeah.
So yeah, not my go-to.
Back in the day when I worked at Cold Stone, it was like one of the flavors that people would, because at Cold Stone, if you aren't familiar, they have all these like creations that are the ones that are most common, and mostly people get that because it's like foolproof and you can see already what's in it. But then people would make up their own versions of like other flavors, and Rocky Road was one of them. And Cold Stone's was chocolate ice cream with marshmallows, fudge, and almond. But I've seen it where it doesn't have almond. I've seen it where it has like pecans or walnuts
Which one
or
is Moose Tracks?
I think Moose Tracks has like a bunch of different I think
Is
it has
it
like a lot of
similar
stuff
though?
in
Isn't
it.
it similar?
I think so, but I don't think Moose Tracks usually is chocolate. I think it's usually vanilla.
Oh, got it.
If
Okay.
memory, it's probably like the vanilla version
Got
of
it.
that. Anywho, who
Anyway,
was your MVP? I really struggled with this.
I struggled too. I don't have an MVP.
I had Ashley/Ella. I was like
Okay,
in
those are
question mark
good. Yeah.
because Ashley always is a great choice, and Ella, I think I don't really remember why I picked her. I guess for just
For like
looking out for her son
speaking
and
up,
and speak
speaking
yeah,
up.
right, and saying something to Aria. But I think Ashley takes it for me yet again this week.
Yeah, she's a good choice. I mean, I also struggled with my shittiest too.
I think I'm just gonna give it to Garrett again.
Yeah, that's who I was gonna pick.
Right? Like it's such a blah answer, but
I don't like him bringing the beer and then be like, "Oh, right." I don't like that. I mean, he could have forgot that Jason. Yeah, I was like, "It's not Ian, Michelle, it's Jason." That Jason's sober, but I don't know. He's just giving me the ick. He's
yeah,
just giving me the ick.
totally thick.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely less cringy this time around.
Definitely. I wasn't really cringed at all. I was just very much entertained. So I don't know really where that lands. I don't like
We
it's
don't have to
old.
give it a cringe at all then.
Yeah, I don't think it did. I don't think it needs a
It
cringe.
didn't make the meter go at all. I agree.
No, no. Just very entertaining.
Yes,
Extremely entertaining.
definitely. All right, and I'm just going to give you the title
Here we go.
and then we're going to wrap it up. The next week's episode is titled I Must Confess. It is the mid-season finale. So, I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed this episode.
Awesome.
And it's juicy. Like lots of juicy things happen. Like I could not pick one specific thing that I wanted to tell you. I ended up going with that it's Tom and Isabella's rehearsal dinner. And let's just say Kate, her vengeance is out.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
All right. Well, the fact that that's happening, I feel like it's going to be like half the episode is going to be that, and then the other half will be what's going to happen in Rosewood. And does Jenna go back to the doctor? Like, what's going on with the vision?
Not next week.
Okay. All right. I haven't forgotten because I really want that to happen.
I know you do.
Okay. So, all right. So we're going to have the rehearsal dinner. Shit's going to go crazy. Kate's going to do some real nasty, vengeful things, but make it seem like she's not doing them.
Mm-hmm.
Aria and Ezra, I think, are going to get into a little bit of an argument about how they can't become public. And she'll explain like, oh, my mom actually thinks you're with Spencer, didn't get a good reaction from this. And he's going to be like, but I don't want to lose you. I want to be proud of our relationship. I'll say some corny shit. This whole episode, I'm just like, can we just make out? Just make out.
Yeah, Ezra, as you know how I feel about Ezra.
No, I know, same. So
Why?
I think we'll get some of that. And then with Emily, I think we'll have her go to therapy.
Okay.
And see how that goes.
I'll tell you something positive happens to Emily next week.
Okay, good. Fantastic. I don't know what that is, but
maybe a blast from the past.
Paige? Is that who the blast? That could be Paige McCullers?
I will.
Wait, what's her last name? McCullums?
Paige McCullers. I plead the fifth. We
That's
will
fine.
see next
That's fine.
week
That's fine.
at the mid-season finale.
Paige.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. Yes, so I'm excited for next week's episode to see what goes on there. If you have any questions, any comments for the mid-season finale, you can reach us at weareliarspod@gmail.com. If you want to leave us a voicemail, it's 631-600-3916. We love to hear your voices. Anything, I mean, it could be a private message or you can send us something for the show. We'd love to play it.
Yeah.
And I cannot believe we're already at almost halfway with this
Wow.
season.
That's really exciting. I can't wait. I
There's
can't wait.
25 episodes, so it's
Okay.
a lot this season. But like I said, next week is good and things happen, fun
Awesome.
things,
Stoked.
and can't wait to hear what you have to say. Until next week, goodbye.
Bye, liars.
Ooh.